You guys doing this Wednesday? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to share with you an encore presentation of my webinar that I've been doing multiple times over the last week called 3 Secrets to Selling Bigger Projects. And I'm excited to share this content with you today. Pop into the chat and say hi if you would. I'd love to hear if I'm coming through loud and clear, and introduce yourselves. I'd love to know how many years of experience you have in the industry. It'll give me an idea of how to kind of frame what I'm going to share today with you guys. And so you guys want to jump right into it? I do, because I have a lot of content to go over, and it takes a little while, and I talk really fast. But just know that this live is obviously recorded and available to you afterwards. So if for some reason you have to pop off in the middle of it, and you can always come back and check out the rest of the recording. But the one thing I would say is that some of the content in this live is time sensitive. So it is going to be imperative that you watch it within the next 24 hours if you can't stay for the whole thing. Loana, I think that's an L. Ioana, 10 years graphic design. Cool. That's cool. Awesome. I assume now that I'm coming through loud and clear, you can see me. So let's just jump into it. What do you say? Okay, let's do it. Here I'm gonna share my presentation. There we go. All right. So with an I. Cool. Okay. Sorry. Ioana? Ioana? Give me a phonetic on that one. That would help me. Evie K, awesome. Welcome. Good to see you guys. So what I'm going to share with you today, and I will also pop on my little question note, which is, if you have any questions as I'm going through this content today, feel free to type question in all caps. Type question in all caps, so when I go back through the chat, I can find your questions easily. I'm going to go through all this content before taking questions, but I will take questions at the end if you have any questions about the content of this presentation. So I'm not going to be doing an AMA in terms of, all sorts of topics around creative professionals, but the content of this presentation I am going to take questions on, and I think that you will find it quite interesting. And so, Mohammed, cool, good to see you. Amit, great. Thanks for joining, you guys. So let's talk about 3 secrets for selling bigger creative projects, shall we? First of all, I promise from this presentation today, I'm going to show you how you can go from being just an order taker, or what I like to call a design chimp, to being considered a much more highly valued business partner to your clients. And in doing so, you can charge higher fees, and you can start to get paid for that experience that you've been sharing for free, that thinking that you've been sharing for free. And learn how to ask the right questions to be able to expand the projects that you get. I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. What do you ask during a discovery call? When you have an initial discovery call with a client, what do you ask your client? And when do you nail down the scope of the project that you're going to be doing with your client? And how do you gain an understanding of the client's brand? If for any reason, in asking those questions to you guys, I exposed some sort of a vacuum of knowledge where you were just a little question mark popped up above your head and you said, when do I nail down the scope of my projects, or what do I ask in a discovery call? Well, I've got you covered. So you're in the right place if you're really excited about the prospect of being treated like a highly valued business partner instead of just an order taker, so you can have more influence over the projects that you get and more influence over your clients. Does that sound good? You're also in the right place if you're intrigued by the idea of selling bigger projects. And as I said, getting paid for that thinking that you've been doing, and also asking the right questions, in addition to the creative work that you've been already delivering. And finally, you're if you're a designer that's motivated and a little scared of the downward pricing pressure that we're experiencing in the creative economy globally, from things like Fiverr and 99 Designs and AI design, Canva, and the things that are nibbling away at the periphery of our industry, because that is putting pressure on how much you can charge for your work. If you really want to figure out how to conquer that, you are totally in the right place, because I'm going to share some very important information with you about ways that you can do that. Now, I want you to kind of self-identify here a little bit and tell me which one of these do you identify with the most. And you can just type the number out in chat if you want. You want to be considered a highly valued business partner and have more influence over the decisions that your client makes. Do you want to sell bigger projects and get paid for your thinking? So that's number 2. Number 3 is, do you want to conquer the challenge of how much you can charge for your work? Pop into the chat. I know it takes like 45 seconds for the numbers to come through, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until you type them in, because I'd love to see. The prospect of becoming a more highly valued business partner with your clients is one that a lot of people can't figure out, because in order to do that, you have to elevate yourself. You have to move up the food chain. And what happens up the food chain are the strategic decisions that get made. Those are the C-suite level conversations that decide what happens in a company. So we have a number 2. So sell bigger projects, get paid for thinking. Awesome. And in becoming a deeper level business partner and moving up the food chain, you have to start participating in the sorts of conversations that arise around strategy, marketing strategy, business strategy, brand strategy. And that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today, how you can start to tiptoe into that world and move up the food chain in your relationship with your clients. Dozy says number 2, Mohammed says number 1, Eva says number 3, Amit says 3. Well, here's the other thing. Conquering, in number 3, wanting to conquer the challenge of how much you can charge for your work. One of the things about that is that if you move up the food chain and you start to have more strategic conversations with your clients, their perception of you as a business partner goes up. Your kind of brand capital as a partner goes up. And as a result of that, you can charge more for the work that you do for them. And I'm going to dig into that a little more deeply as we go through. So whatever your motivation, 1, 2, or 3, I'm going to help address that with you today. Now, some of you guys know me from the Brand Design Masters Facebook group or my YouTube channel here, or maybe you've been other webinars or courses or masterminds that I've run. But I've had 20 years of experience in-house in global corporations. I've had 8 years of experience in global branding agencies working with global corporations. And I've also had my own agency and consultancy now for 6 years. So I've got a lot of experience on both sides of the street, both client side and agency side. And this is just a smattering of some of the clients that I've worked with in my career. A lot of them in the Fortune 500, certainly 100. Now I'm working with entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses in my agency, because I've been there, done that with the big corporations, and now I want to work with more nimble clients so I can really make an impact on their business much more quickly. And I have done consumer research. I've spoken around the world. I have, as I said, worked with a whole range of clients. I've consulted individually with entrepreneurs. I've launched brands from absolute scratch. I have taken monolithic brands and rebranded them. And I'm not just a brand bot. I also have a personal life. This is my wife, Beth, and our 2 dogs, Pony and Banyan, and our orange cat, Harry. And so just a little peek into the window of actually the personal life of Phil Van Dusen. I make about 80% of my revenue in my agency right now from selling strategy and consulting. And my clients, as I said, range from entrepreneurs to 100 million, sometimes $200 million businesses, not the Fortune 500. I run coaching groups. I run paid masterminds. I've helped dozens of creative professionals sell more and charge more for their work. I have the luxury now of being able to say no to projects where I don't think that the client is valuing my work or what I bring to the table. And I only say yes to projects where I feel I'm being valued and where I'm really passionate about the brand. And I want to be able to get you guys there as well. Does that sound good? Okay. So I had an aha moment when I left my last big corporate gig as a global vice president of design for a big soft drink company. I realized that I'd been building brands for giant corporations who have the money to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for brand strategy. And I've been using processes and methodologies and tools to do that. And when I started my own consultancy, my own agency, I realized what I really need to do is I really have to be able to scale down those processes. Sorry, my light just decided to do something completely weird on its own. I wanted to scale down those processes so I could use them with entrepreneurs and startups and small to medium-sized businesses so they could benefit and get the benefits that these giant corporations are getting from these methodologies and from this sort of thinking. And that's what I succeeded in doing. And now I'm using it in my own agency, but I'm also teaching it to others how creative pros can take those tools and those strategies and those methods and use them with their own clients. So I want you to be able to imagine sometime in the future, if you are able to pick the clients that you want to work with and only the clients that you want to work with, ones that really value you and brands that you really want to work with. Imagine if you could get paid for the expertise that you have. Someone said they have 10 years of experience. You gather a lot of experience in 10 years and you share that with your clients. And yes, they do, that is a value add to what you do, but you can also learn how to get paid for delivering that sort of thinking. And as I said, when you start moving up the food chain and getting paid for thinking, the ability to charge more for your creative work goes up. And I really want to get you to the place where clients are really valuing your opinion, that are listening to you. They're taking your advice. It's not just a one-way street in terms of communication. Learning a brand strategy system is the single most powerful way that you can have clients love working with you. You can produce your best work. You can grow your income. And you can really create a level of career insurance and change your life as a creative professional in your career. And full disclosure, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to be sharing how you can work with me directly. I'm going to be sharing a bit about a course that I've launched, and it has a direct relationship to what we're going to be talking about here. In fact, a lot of the content that I'm talking about here is in some of the first module of the course that I'm offering. And so I'm going to share all the information and how you can join that course at the end of this presentation. But just know that the information that I'm sharing with you in terms of the discovery call and brand audits and things like that is included in this course that I'm offering, but to a much more robust extent. This is kind of an outline of it. So the pathway we're going to take today is I'm going to kind of share some myths and dispel some myths and share some realities with you about things that people believe in our agency. In our industry, excuse me. I'm going to be sharing about the power of the discovery call and how there are certain questions you can ask that are going to unlock the opportunities to grow your projects. What the power of a competitive audit is, how you do a brand audit, and how you can find opportunities there for expanding your work with a client. And then, as I said, towards the end, how you can work with me. And I'll take some questions and answers at the end. Okay? So first of all, let's talk about the power of the discovery call. Now, this is not the very first call you have with your client. This is generally the second call. The first call is what I like to call a qualification call, where you're hearing just from them what they think the scope of the projects are going to be and whether you're even in the same ballpark in terms of what they want to pay and what you charge, okay? That's where they qualify. But when you get into a deeper level of conversation with your clients, maybe on the next call where you're really starting to ask questions about their business, that's what we're talking about in this discovery call. So the first myth I want to dispel is that you don't have any influence on the size projects that your clients bring you. A lot of times clients come to most clients come to the table and they have an idea of the scope of the project that they want. But in reality, by asking the right questions in a discovery call, you can uncover opportunities to grow the size of your projects. And your clients, because of the questions that you're asking, will be very open to it. Myth number 2 is that clients, and this is one really gets me, is that clients really understand what they need to make their business successful. Sometimes they are just shooting in the dark. They're shooting a dart at a dartboard, hoping that the one thing that they want or coming to you to ask to do for them is going to really move the needle in their business. When in many times clients have an incomplete understanding of what the results are that they're going to get from what they're asking you to do. And we are in the results business. We're not in the deliverables business and just handing back to the client what they ask us for. What we're in the business of is acting like detectives and figuring out with the client exactly what we need to do for them that are going to get the results that they need and the results they want to achieve. So we're going to talk about 10 questions, 10 key questions, themes of questions that you're going to ask during a discovery call that are going to unlock more work for you. Okay? Does that sound good? Okay, here we go. First of all, this one's really basic, which is the background information on the company. This is things like the revenue of the company, which allows you to scale and judge how much you should be charging for the project. How many employees do they have? Are they public? Are they private? What's the length of time they've been in business? Who are the stakeholders in the business? Who are the decision makers in the business? What experience, and this is an important one, what kind of experience do they have with branding agencies? Have they worked with agencies before or consultants before? What were those experiences like? What did they have them do? This is a real key question to ask and to listen to intently when they answer, because this can really expose how they view agencies. And it also will give you a real clear idea of the hot buttons that you have to watch out for when you're working with this client. Because everyone carries baggage, right? Clients carry baggage, providers carry baggage. And so you want to hear about and dig into and ask some questions about what their experiences with previous agencies have been. Question number 2 is the company's product or service. This is asking about whether, what it is, what are their products and services, what do they offer, how many products they offer, how many services do they offer, are they mass, meaning do they have a broad kind of customer avatar target, are they very premium, so they have a much narrower customer avatar target, do they have a broad offering, do they have a very narrow offering, a niche offering, are they very focused? The opportunity that you have here when you start to ask these questions are clients sometimes don't see the opportunity. They go about their business in the same way. And even asking the questions around whether they have considered broadening their product assortment or service assortment, or whether if they have a broad offering, whether they have considered niching it down or focusing or centralizing or highlighting one in hierarchy above the others. Those are the sorts of questions that you ask, because if you get wind of the fact that they're adding a new product, adding a new service, consolidating what their offering is, there are always marketing and design opportunities within those changes, within those additions, within those contractions or consolidations. Number 3 is customer avatar. Have they ever really taken a look at their customer avatar? Have they captured it? Have they codified it? Have they defined it? And that is creating some sort of a visualization of the avatar. You can have demographic information, yes, age, income, geographic location, motivators, etc. But it's very helpful to have some sort of a visualization of that customer avatar so you can socialize that information throughout the client organization. Many times different stakeholders in an organization have different opinions of who their avatar is. I have worked with companies where I've met with C-suite stakeholders, asked them the same question about who their customer avatar is, and gotten different answers. That is not good, because if everyone isn't marching to the same drummer, then you're just kind of using a shotgun effect to try to get the results that you want. So finding out whether they have ever really codified or clarified or created an illustration of the customer avatar is a great question to ask in a discovery call, because that unlocks an opportunity for you to do that sort of work for them. Okay? If they don't have it. Do they have any qualitative research around it? Do they have any quantitative research around who their avatar is? Again, more opportunities. You may not be a research expert, but you can become partners with one and kind of facilitate that work for the client and get paid for it. You also want to ask about strategic foundation. Do they have any strategy work? Has the company ever codified or defined their brand in strategic ways? Are there holes in their strategy? So do they have things like a brand pyramid, a positioning statement? Do they have mission statements, vision statements? Do they have brand archetypes or brand personalities? Do they have any of the kind of standard brand strategy tools established for their company? And if they don't, this is a huge opportunity for you, because brands who have not defined themselves have not clearly communicated who they are, either to their customers or to their internal stakeholders. And establishing and doing that sort of work, which at the end of this presentation, I'm going to tell you how you can learn how to do this kind of work, is it exposes a vacuum of knowledge on the client side that you as a creative service provider can start to fill. But even, and I want to stress this point, but even in having these conversations and asking these sorts of probing questions, these kind of detective questions, it will change your client prospect or your current client or your prospect's opinion of you. Opinion of what you are bringing to the table as a creative professional or some sort of a business branding consultant. So these questions alone, these themes of questions, can unlock great opportunities for you to grow project sizes. Number 5 is channels of business. What are the delivery mechanisms that they use to sell their products and services? Do they have physical products? Do they have digital products? Do they serve them up via email? Do they have lead magnets or white papers behind a paywall? Do they have physical retail? Do they sell through external retailers? Do they, go to conferences and have a physical presence in kind of a more group setting? Are they automated? Are the delivery systems automated, or are they all kind of served up from personal contact or sales contact with their customers? Digging in and asking about what their channels of business are, again, exposes opportunities for additional channels of business. So, for instance, if a company is offering white papers only behind a paywall or only behind a registration wall, that is limiting the amount of exposure and brand awareness that they're getting, because there are a lot of people who do not want to register on a company's website to get to a white paper or some sort of content. There is an opportunity for them to do free content marketing or email content marketing, or using lead magnets to get email addresses, or to make initial contact and have a brand impression on some of their customer avatars, some of their prospects. So looking at their channels of business and exploring what they have and what they don't have exposes opportunities for you. Is everyone tracking with me? Yeah? Give me a thumbs up. I know I'm talking fast, but this is a lot of content. Number 6 is brand design ecosystem. This is something that we as creative professionals are really comfortable with in general, right? Asking questions about what do they have in terms of their assets for their brand design. What is their ecosystem? Where do they show up? Do they have a website? Do they have social media presences? Do they do content anywhere? Podcasts, videos, YouTube? What is their footprint? And then also, what are the assets that they have? Do they have a full suite of brand design assets? Logo, word mark, icon, color palette, font choices, pattern or texture, sound, illustration style, animation style. When you start to dig in and ask these questions, the client suddenly goes, because I almost every brand I have ever asked all those questions to are missing something. They're missing a pattern. They're missing a sound. They're missing an animation style. They haven't even thought of having a signature photography style to elevate their brand awareness and make them stickier in the minds of people who come across their brand. Asking those questions exposes opportunities for you to deliver more creative work to them. Number 7 is marketing. Where do they market? How do they market? Do they do it through promotion, so paid advertising? Do they do it through attraction, content marketing, inbound marketing? How do they go to market? Do they do it all through referrals? Do they do it all through word of mouth? Do they do it all through salesman contact? People call them or email them from their website and then they reach out in person with a sales representative. Is it relationship based? Asking questions about how they do their marketing, again, exposes opportunities for where they are doing things and where they are not doing things, or where they're doing things and they're having great results, and where they're doing things and they may not be getting any results. Again, when you ask these questions and you dig into it, it starts to expose opportunities that when you do a brand audit for them or you do a competitive audit, you start to look at these things across the competitive set. It's very, very compelling to move the client forward in building their brand to a greater extent than they had originally planned. Number 8 is a competitive landscape, and I'm going to get into this point a lot more deeply in the next section, but asking your client who their competition is. Name 3 to 5 of your direct competitors. How much do you know about them? Have you ever done a deep competitive audit on your competition? Have you ever looked at the landscape, the brand positioning of your competition? What is keeping them up at night about their competition? Who's beating them? Who's beating their butt? Who's not? Whose butt are they beating? Right? So what is going on in the whole competitive landscape? No business operates in a vacuum. And it's amazing to me how little time and energy client organizations spend looking at the competition. Because maneuvering through, around, and finding white space in the competitive set is one of the most important things to succeeding in business. And here's the thing I want to point out to you guys. This is another area where lots and lots of client organizations have not done any work, or they haven't defined or codified or really looked at their competition apples to apples across a whole range of criteria. And in this next section, when I talk about a competitive audit, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what you look at in the competition, apples to apples, that when you do that and you compare the client's brand to those things, how they perk up when they realize what their competition is doing and where they need to perform. Number 9 is the project result desired, and this actually links really closely with number 10, which is the project scope. So when you ask about the project result, that's an important question because a lot of times the result that they're looking for may not exactly line up with what they came to the table with as a scope of the project in the first place. I use this example a lot, but say a client came to you and they said, the result is that we want more people to call our sales team. We need more calls. And they've come to you for a new website because they think that redesigning the website is going to get more calls to their sales team. When in reality, it may be that they have a really bad customer journey, right? The copy on their website doesn't make it very clear where people are supposed to go, what they're supposed to do. Maybe the buttons on the site are badly placed or on the wrong page or too deep in the website. Maybe the contact page isn't very apparent. Maybe there aren't enough links on the home page to get to the contact page. There's all sorts of navigation things and communication things that you could do to solve that sales call problem. It also might be a sales funnel problem, meaning you don't have enough people getting driven to the website in the first place to get the right number of calls through to your sales team. Maybe it's a marketing problem. Maybe it's a content inbound marketing problem. Maybe it's a paid promotional problem. They might have come to you for a website, but what they were wanting from that as a result may not line up with actually what needs to be done to achieve the result. So digging in and asking questions about what the result is that they want, and making sure that what the scope of the project is the thing that's going to deliver that result. So if there's one word that describes a discovery call, you saw it in orange after 9 of those 10 themes. It is, boom, opportunity. The discovery call is nothing but opportunity for you to dig in, ask pointed questions, look smart, elevate yourself in the viewpoint of your client as to what kind of business partner that you are. Now, you don't dive in and start recommending all sorts of additional work in the discovery call. This is a detective kind of mode where you are really gleaning all the information, because you're going to want to go back and think about this and formulate a plan of attack for them before you get into designing a deep proposal with a whole lot of phases and stuff like that. Because you want to be really clear about what you're proposing to deliver to them that's going to achieve the result that they want. So let's talk about the competitive audit. I told you I was going to dig into the competitive audit a little more, which is some people believe that clients really understand their competition and what they need to do to win against their competition, when in reality, many clients have never really even looked deeply at their competition, and certainly not to the extent that a competitive audit will, in terms of looking at a range of criteria and comparing the competition apples to apples, and also to the client's brand. Here's what a competitive audit looks like. This is just a range of things that when you look at 3 to 5 competitors, you examine them deeply, capture visuals, look at qualitative information, quantitative information, numbers, metrics, around the client's competition. And then you capture that in a presentation and compare them apples to apples to each other. You look at their visual branding, you look at their customer target, who it looks like their customer is. Now, a lot of these things you can't know for sure. You have to make inferences as you look at the client's website, their social media, their engagement, who they're talking to, who's in their groups, what products and services they are offering, because you want to look at some competitors might have very niche offerings. Some competitors might be very mass. Other competitors might be very premium. They could be offering the same category of business, but they could be offering it in very different ways. You also look at the scale of the company. Is it the startup? Is it 2 or 3 people? Is it a small to medium-sized business from $10 to $100 million? How big are the companies that are the competition? What kind of communication are they using? Everything from tone of voice, so the brand's personality, the customer journey, how the copy is leading you through a sales funnel, leading you to take action and start to engage with the company. You're also going to look at their channels of business. Where are they showing up? Are they showing up on social, podcast, video, web, trade shows, LinkedIn groups? Where are they showing up? What are their channels of business? And are they in physical retail? How are they delivering what they deliver? You're going to look at their content. Are they doing any kind of content development? Is it original content? Is it sound? Is it video? Is it written blogs? Is it white papers? Is it downloadable lead magnets? What is the content that they're developing? And if they're not developing any content, that's a huge opportunity, right? Because literally every business, apart from super service-based businesses like plumbers and painters, right, need to be developing some sort of content in today's marketing world. You look at their community. if they have a Facebook group or Twitter or Instagram, do they have a following? What is the engagement of that following? Is there any kind of a real conversation going on between the client and their followers? What kind of marketing are they doing? Where are they showing up? Is it promotional marketing? Is it content marketing? And then you want to look at their social. So where are they choosing to show up? Are they showing up deeply on one social platform and kind of turning their backs on the others? Are they showing up very, narrowly or kind of shallowly on a wide range of social platforms? Different competitors can be going about it in very different ways. And so looking at the competition and comparing them to each other is very educational. One of the things I want to stress for you guys is that doing a competitive audit is one of the things where you educate yourself. Yes, you are taking a broad view and learning about the category and trying to put together a report for your clients with observations and recommendations of how they address the competitive landscape. But one of the things that's really important in this is that in doing this work, you are educating yourself to this category. This is one of the things that I personally love about brand work anyway, is that I get to learn about a whole range of businesses, right? In my career, I know a whole lot about natural pet food. I know a whole lot about jet engines. I know a whole lot about fashion design. I know a whole lot about popcorn. I know a whole lot about salty snacks. Like there are I know a whole lot about glucose monitors for diabetics. I've worked in all sorts of different projects where I've had to learn super deeply about a client's category. And that's one of the things that I personally love about the work of being a brand consultant. And I look at competitive audits as a huge opportunity to educate myself so I can form points of view around what the client can do to succeed and to break through and to differentiate themselves from their competition. What a competitive audit helps you do, and I already just started diving into this before I went to the slide, but it helps you understand your clients, who your clients' key competitors are, and their business, where they're showing up, what they look like, how they're positioning themselves in the marketplace in relationship to each other, what products and services they offer, how they're talking about themselves. So what is their communication, tone of voice, customer journey, sales funnel, and also the engagement part. How are other people talking about them? What are the reviews of the competition? What is the word on the street about the competition? It helps you keep your finger on the pulse of what other businesses are doing in your client's industry, what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're offering. And it helps you evaluate the client's brand in relationship to them to find out if they are differentiated or if everyone's doing it the same way. And sometimes if everyone's doing it the same way, there's a reason for that. Sometimes there's a lot of variation in how competitive sets are going about their business, and there's a reason for that too. But most importantly, competitive audit, and I alluded to this, is that it helps you as a creative professional, as a consultant, as a business partner, helps you recommend to your client what they need to do to stay competitive and how they can stay relevant to their customers, how they can develop the right range of products, the right range of services, and how they can design their brand, how they market their brand, how they show up in terms of content, customer journey, what channels they're in. And it helps you make recommendations to them about what they should do. And then you are in the position of authority, number one, on their competition and on their business. And they are much more likely to hire you to do it because you have already proven yourself as being an authority on what steps they need to take in order to position themselves to win. And a brand audit is slightly different from a competitive audit. Yes, you look at the client's brand in relationship to those same criteria that I mentioned in the competitive audit. But when you do a brand audit, it's slightly different because you have access to the client's brand. You have access to all the stakeholders. You have access to, hopefully, all of their internal information, their marketing information, their strategy information, sales information, all that sort of stuff. So what do you look at when you look at a brand, the client's brand? One of the things that you need to keep in mind is that I hear this a lot. Clients don't want to pay for brand strategy or consulting because they don't see the return on investment of it. When in reality, if you show clients visually the tools and the processes of brand strategy and how it can uncover revenue for them, they are more than happy to pay for it. What a brand audit explores is you look and ask about, as I said earlier in the discovery call section, about whether the company has any brand strategy work done, positioning, customer avatar, brand personality, etc. What do they have? What don't they have? A huge opportunity for you in terms of developing anything that they don't have or educating them to what this stuff is and how these processes go. Number 2 is internal stakeholder perceptions. What are the stakeholders, the people who work in the company, C-suite, management level people, what are their perceptions of the brand? Asking these questions also exposes inconsistency between stakeholders in a company. And when you can find and identify inconsistencies about how internal stakeholders are viewing or acting within a company, again, that gives you opportunity to add value in terms of finding ways to bring everyone into the fold. You look at brand design, you look at the brand assets. This is where we are comfortable as creative professionals a lot of the time. Content, you look at communications, you look at what they're doing in terms of marketing. And in the case of doing a brand audit, you have a lot more access to the truth around what they're doing in marketing than you do sometimes when you're trying to assess it from the outside in doing a competitive audit on other brands. And also their brand ecosystem and their footprint, where they're showing up. A brand audit creates the full picture of what a brand has in terms of ammunition to go to war against the competition. It exposes what they have, but most importantly, what they don't have. Because what they don't have is the stuff that you can come to the table and offer to develop for them. So the 3 secrets are the discovery call, the competitive audit, and the brand audit. This combination gives you everything that you need to make the observations and the recommendations that your client will sit up straight and pay attention to. Because when they see it illustrated to them, themselves against the competition, it's very motivating because they feel naked. They feel exposed. They feel endangered when they realize they don't have the ammunition, strategic information, ammunition, brand, visual asset ammunition, strategic positioning kind of ammunition that they, or it could be processes or services or content or marketing activities. When they realize that they're not doing everything that they need to be doing, or more importantly, what their competition is already doing, it's very, very motivating to them to fix it. And that's why having these level of conversations with the client exposes gigantic opportunities for you as a creative professional to make recommendations that they will very likely listen to. Okay? So a good audit and a competitive audit is a wonderful thing because you literally visually show the clients the competition and what you found, where the brand's competition are positioned, and what your observations and recommendations are. It's very, very motivating. So I want you to just sit back for a moment and let me know, do you see how powerful it is that when you know how to uncover the opportunities for more work, when you engage with your clients on a strategic level, when you start to ask the right questions as a detective, digging into their business, how much power it has? Now, I have one question, and this is where I'm making a bit of a segue. Would you like me to help you learn how to do this stuff? How to learn a brand strategy system, the conversations, the talking points, the tools and processes that you need to develop brand strategy for a client. Because this could 2 times your revenue. and project sizes, and I've seen it happen. You have kind of two options. One is that you could try to create your own brand strategy system or approach or process on your own and be in the same place that you are right now, kind of curious, floundering around a little bit, not exactly sure exactly how to approach it, what tools to use, what conversations to have. Or you could 100% commit to learning a proven and repeatable brand strategy process with me. It will future-proof your business, and it will increase your revenue and your control over your project work, and it will elevate you in terms of how your clients see you as a business partner. And if you're ready to move up the food chain, I'm inviting you to join me inside Brand Strategy 101. It's my signature introductory level course to brand strategy. It's a fantastic course. This is the second time I have launched it. The first time was incredibly successful at the beginning of 2021, and I'm launching it for a second time now in the fall. It is the only online training program that shows you exactly how you can use a proven set of brand strategy processes and tools so clients will respect you at a whole different level. You can land bigger projects, increase your fees, and get paid for your thinking. Elevating yourself as a higher level business partner with them, someone who is more valuable, less of a design chimp. What you're going to learn in Brand Strategy 101 is how to communicate the ROI of strategy, the return on investment of strategy, how to communicate and sell it to your clients, how businesses are organized, and I'm going to teach you how to assess a client's needs, what they need, what they don't need, and also how to audit the competition. And what I shared with you today is just like a needle prick into what a competitive audit looks like, or what the actual tools that you use in order to do it. And I will give you the actual tools you need and walk you through step by step how to go about a competitive audit and how to present it, how to use a proven system and toolkit to develop brand strategy, and also how brand strategy connects with design strategy, how you create truly strategic design work. And that is by linking it up and having it be driven by the brand strategy. I will show you how brand strategy is developed and then how that Venn diagram intersects with design. And then how to apply this system in a really modular way so you can start to get paid for your thinking. There's 7 components. I teach this course live over 8 weeks. There's 7 modules, but one of them has 2 parts. It's taught live over Zoom, and if for any reason you're in a part of the world where you can't attend, then they are all recorded, and those recordings are available to you for the foreseeable future. There are 7 modules taking you through some major steps in the brand strategy process, everything from the discovery call, competitive audits, brand audits, developing actual brand strategy tools, how you then move strategy into design visualization, and then how you build a brand strategy project in a very modular way, because no brand strategy project is exactly the same. You could have one that just needs a couple tools, a little tweak, a little refresh. You might have a brand that's an entrepreneur who's doing a startup and they need everything. You have to be able to learn how to build a brand strategy project and design project that tacks onto it in a modular way that you're able to scale it up and down depending on the needs of the client. And I will teach you how to do that. The value of this course is $19.97. The program includes the 7 training modules, so over 8 weeks, all of the replay videos, and then I'm also going to share with you 23 brand strategy tools. I don't know where I got 17 from. And these are all conversation guides, actual tools that are PDFs that you can enter information in, and you get to download them and keep them and use them in your business. They are plug and play. You also are going to get a private Facebook group where we're going to have a live Q&A every week. So I'm going to teach a module on a Tuesday, and then on a Friday we have a Facebook Q&A about that module, because I want to make sure that every single person who's in this course really internalizes it, really understands how to apply it in their business so they can leave this course and put it into action. And this private Facebook group is going to help you do that. And then I'll give you this brand strategy project toolkit. So these are all the PDFs, forms, and instructions and case studies of what this stuff looks like in real life. And again, as I mentioned, the process map, documents that show how you can communicate what strategy is, how you can educate your client as to what it is, the terminology that you need to learn and use, because this is, a bit of a leap for creative professionals who have never done strategy. You have to learn some new terms. You have to learn how to communicate in a slightly different way. When you roll all of the value up of the course and all the bonuses together, it comes to a value of about $3,400. And I've been encouraged by peer masterminds that I'm in to charge that. But I'm not going to, because I know that creative professionals right now are a bit challenged. So instead of $34.88, you can take Brand Strategy 101 for $497. The cart, so the sales process, the cart of the enrollment for this course has been open since last Tuesday. It closes tomorrow. So you can get started today for 2 payments at $297. If you can't bite it off all in one chunk, that's fine. You can do it in a 2-payment plan, or you can save a little money and do it as 1 payment at $497. And if you're ready to get started, you can pop over to philipvandusen.com/enroll and read all about the course in excruciating detail, all of the modules, everything you're going to get out of it, all the bonuses. There's a huge Q&A, frequently asked questions section at the bottom of the page with a lot of additional information. And, dare I say it, there's no risk. So if you buy Brand Strategy 101, you invest in it, you take the first 2 modules, you attend the first 2 Q&As in Facebook, and you feel like this course isn't for you, or it's not what you expected, or you don't think that you're going to get out of it what you thought you were, I'll give you your money back. No questions asked. Just have to show up to the first 2 Zooms, first 2 Facebook Q&As, show me that you did the work, and if you don't think you're right for it, I'll give you your money back. So there is literally no risk in this for you. Now, a few people who took this course last time, Paul Feeney is a designer, a consultant and brand designer in Ireland. He said, I've been a designer for 10 years. I just delivered the brand strategy process that Philip teaches, and I can tell you it works. I just increased the scope of a client project to include strategy and transformed it into the biggest project I've completed in my career. And he actually called me up when he did this and was just like, oh my God, I can't believe what just happened, because I literally doubled the price tag of the project that I was doing by adding on brand strategy. Emma Viega-Malta said, I've always felt I could be a better creative partner with my clients, but I didn't know how. Now I do. Immediately started delivering fabulous brand strategy workshops using the tools and processes from Brand Strategy 101. My clients were wowed, and I won 2 new strategy projects. Both paid me in full up front. And the one thing about Emma was that she was chomping at the bit. Like, she wanted to get through this course because she had clients that she had this feeling like she was going to be able to sell strategy to. And within about 6 weeks of ending this course, this happened to her. She won both of these strategy projects through workshops, and both paid her in full. You're going to overcome being intimidated by brand strategy. So, I know a lot of creative pros who are just starting off. Brand strategy is a big word, and it's kind of trendy right now. A lot of people are talking about it, but people talk about it in different ways. And it can be kind of confusing about where to start. This is a great place to start. I have literally taught hundreds of creative professionals in my career how to do this stuff, on the agency side, on the corporate side. And I know that I can teach you. If you're challenged by the project sizes that you're getting, if you're challenged by not getting paid for the thinking that you're doing, or you think you're giving a lot of stuff away for free, or if you don't know how to communicate the ROI of strategy so your clients really understand the value of it and want to pay you for it, or if you're frustrated by being treated like an order taker, this is what it looks like when you go to philipvandusen.com/enroll. You're going to get greeted with a landing page. You can scroll down. Like I said, there's a ton of information in there about the course. You'll pick a payment plan that's right for you, either a single pay or a 2-pay. You'll go to the checkout page. You'll have to fill in your details and choose a password, and then you'll get access to the course. There's a quick little thank you page. and you'll have to log in to the course. There's a welcome video. You'll have a members area of your course library. This is where all of the course materials, downloads are kept, all the discussion guides, the PDFs, and also all of the videos of all the lessons will be deposited after they occur inside your membership area. And once you purchase this, these will always be available to you. So there's no time date on when this closes, meaning the recordings will be there, the downloads will be there, all of the information will be there for you. And then there's a little welcome video for me to welcome you inside the group. And we're going to have a kickoff party in the private Facebook group. So the classes actually start on Tuesday, September 21st. So there's a bit of time between the closing of the course and when the classes start. But you can only purchase this through tomorrow. Then it closes. That's it. And then classes start on the 21st. So if you're ready to not be a design chimp anymore, and if you're ready to get paid for the thinking that you've been giving away for free, possibly in addition to your creative work. So a bolt-on, you're going to keep selling your creative work, but you're going to be able to sell it for more money, and you'll be able to start getting paid for the thinking that you're doing. If you're really ready to learn the skills that you need to charge higher fees and make more per project and to stop worrying about Fiverr, this is how you're going to do it. This is the thing, you guys. I know I'm rolling along, but here's the thing. The creative industry is changing. It's not like it used to be. There are huge pressures from the global creative economy, downward pricing pressure on creative product. So if you are just delivering creative product and that's it, your days are numbered. I hate to be doom and gloom about this, but it's true. You really have to start developing a broader skill set in order to insulate yourself from the pressures of the global creative economy. That is why, one of the reasons why you are hearing so much about brand strategy these days is because a lot of people are realizing that you really got to up your game in terms of understanding how to work with clients and how to help people's businesses. Because if you're just delivering a creative product, you got to deliver more. You got to be a bigger partner, because that's the one thing that Fiverr can't deliver. Fiverr can't deliver business partnership. Fiverr can't deliver consulting. Fiverr delivers product, right? Creative product. So you have to start thinking a little broader. You have to start making the moves. It's not going to happen overnight, but you got to start making the moves in order to become a deeper level business partner and to understand things on a deeper level. And I know, a lot of people tell me this, my clients don't want to pay for strategy, like they don't want to hear it. I actually have a course module for that, how to sell strategy, where I get deep into communicating the return on investment of strategy. There are case studies and examples that you can show your client that will help them understand how strategy can move their business forward. Here's Nikita Merge, who took the course the last time too. He said, Brand Strategy 101 teaches you everything you need to know in an A to Z approach. Proven tools, clear sequential lessons, taught to the point, practical processes. And most importantly, the ability to clearly articulate the ROI strategy delivers. Now my clients are happily paying me to solve real business problems for them. And you might be a little confused. Like, I've never done strategy before. Maybe I'm too junior. Maybe this will be too complicated for me. Well, I'll introduce you to Joselle Tech. Joselle is actually, I'll be fully transparent. Joselle took my brand strategy course, but I now hire her as an administrative assistant. So you'll see her in my Brand Design Masters Facebook group. You'll sometimes see her moderating lives that I have, but that's because now she works with my team. But she took Brand Strategy 101, had her own agency before, and she said, I used to share my advice about a client's business without charging them. She never charged for her thinking, and she's a very smart woman. Using what I learned in Brand Strategy 101 today, and she sent me this OMG email it was so funny because she said, I made $6,000 leveraging this toolkit and sales methods. She doubled her revenue and 3 times her fees within the first year. Within this year, 2021. She also sent me another email that was really funny. She said, I upsold an $8,000 creative project to $18,000 by bolting on brand strategy. And I was like, yes. And you can hear it from her. If you were a member of the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, you could always ping her over there and ask her about it. So anyway, Sonia is just popping into the chat, and I didn't pay her to be here. She's just showing up because she's a super fan. But she says I'm a great teacher. That's nice, Sonia. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so, and you might say, you know, I can't afford it right now. Like, this course better freaking pay for itself, right? Because things are tight. And Waylon Lloyd said, Brand Strategy 101 is an incredible value for the price. The tools that Philip offers in the course have been a huge help in building my business. To be honest, and this is so true, the strategy toolkit downloads that you get with the course are alone worth the course tuition fee. And I believe that to be true. In fact, when this course isn't offered anymore, I'm going to be selling these strategy tools individually, and they're going to add up to a heck of a lot more than the course entry fee. So if you're interested, go to philipvandusen.com/enroll. A one pay of $497, two pays of $297. It's only open till tomorrow. Tomorrow at midnight, doors close. A lot of people have signed up already. The sales have been quite robust, and so you'll be joining a great group of people. I really hope to see you inside. Hope to see you inside the course. It can really, really help move your business forward. So if you're interested in Brand Strategy 101, if anything else, just go to the URL and read more about the course, more in detail, philipvandusen.com/enroll. Read through the course, the frequently asked questions, all that sort of stuff. If you have any questions about the course or something comes up after we sign off here, ping me on Facebook. Send me a Facebook message. Or in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, become a member, and then tag me inside there and ask me a question, and I will be happy to answer. But move fast because the doors are closing tomorrow night at midnight. Okay? So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to find a way to leave that back up there. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn this off. Then I'm going to turn that on. So, I did see one question come in. Let me see if it has to do with what I was presenting. So what'd you guys think? Pop in the comments and let me know what you thought of the content. I'd appreciate that. What is Ioana asked, what is the time investment that the lead or client have to make for a discovery call? Generally, a discovery call for me takes about an hour. I generally try to schedule 45 minutes to an hour with a client to run through a whole series of questions, because you will dig deeply into certain areas and you will kind of skate over other areas. But I usually leave about an hour for a discovery call. That's outside of the qualification call, and sometimes a qualification call when you're talking about initial scope and whether you're even in the same ballpark with each other in terms of cost. That may be a 15-minute or half-hour conversation to begin with. I'm just going to throw this up there. Sonia took this course the first time around. I knew there was something more I could do to be a better partner with them. I took this course, worth every penny, loved it. That is Sonia. And she's a real alumni of Brand Strategy 101. She also said, Philip's a great teacher. I like to think of myself as a great teacher. I actually started off my career as a teacher, as a fine art teacher, teaching painting and drawing. And then became a creative director, and I realized that being a creative director and a creative leader in agencies and corporations was a lot like being a teacher, except you got paid a hell of a lot more money than being a teacher, and you helped grow, inspire, and educate and other creative professionals to advance in their careers, just like a teacher. And that's why I was good at it. That's why I was good as a creative professional. And that's why I think Brand Strategy 101 is a great course. Okay. Okay, here's Amit asks question. How do you evaluate the work done based on which it can be charged to client, or how to evaluate the project when first level of discussion with client? Okay, so what I think that you're asking is how do you develop a cost structure after a first conversation with a client? Well, you usually have to, establish some ballpark cost structure after even in the qualification call. So if you have a call with a client and they're saying we need a new website, and you dig in to find out it's a 8 to 10 page website and there's no e-commerce and it's pretty simple, and you may say these websites for me when I design them are anywhere from X to X amount, depending on the number of pages, the complexity of the build, etc. You give them a range. So if they have the opportunity to say, oh my gosh, that's crazy, that's 5 times what I was expecting to spend, or they're like, oh yeah, that's good, that sounds in the range. You have a qualification call, so you weed out the looky-loos, or the people who aren't even in your ballpark. But then when you have the discovery call and you start to ask some of these deeper questions, you will start to gather more information on what it is they've asked you for. You'll have an idea of what you're going to charge them for that thing, but you'll have to decide whether that is really the thing that they need, or if they have other things that are going to help get them that result that you need to bolt on, tack on, and develop a cost proposal structure around that. Generally, you can do that coming right out of a discovery call. You can have a general idea. Here's how I do it, and I'm just to share some of my process with you guys, is that I don't develop fully fleshed out developed proposals for clients until I get a sign off on a ballpark email price. So I'll have a qualification call with a client. I will have a discovery call with the client. I will develop an email ballpark proposal with the phases that I believe that they should do, the deliverables that I think that they should do, with ballpark range prices in it. So they can either agree or disagree with what I'm recommending to them, and they'll also get an idea of how much it is. This is all before I will do a final, 20-page proposal with all of the phases broken out, all of the deliverables, all the interactions, the meetings, the timeline, descriptions of the phases, all that sort of stuff, which is a heck of a lot of work when you're developing a proposal for a client. So I always get a sign-off on a ballpark before that. But you can base that off of your discovery call with a client, out of your probably second conversation with the client. You would anyway, right? You would have to develop a quote for a client coming right out of that conversation. You're doing the same thing. You're just tacking on additional recommendations for them to achieve the results that they want to achieve. Hope that helped. Honest, how is this workshop different from, let's say, the future? I haven't taken the Futures workshop, and I haven't taken other brand strategy workshops on purpose because I have my own process. I have my own history and bona fides and credibility and career and processes that I have developed and used with that range of clients that you saw. So on that client sheet that you saw, all those logos at the beginning, I have done this with those clients. The Future has never worked with those clients. First of all, I'll tell you that. The Future has never worked with the range and the scope of clients that I have done this work for. I know that. Christo is a friend of mine. I've been on his podcast. He's been on my podcast. Their client list is very different from mine. I've worked with everything from entrepreneurs to GE and PepsiCo and Safeway and Coca-Cola and Warner Brothers and P&G and Johnson & Johnson. I mean, these are the clients that these processes have been used for, and I have now scaled them down and used them with small to medium-sized businesses. And so my process is built out of my 30-year career on both the in-house side and the agency side. That's one of the most major differences between what I know of my experience and what I know of Christo and his agency's experience. Hope that helps. Okay, you guys, this has been awesome. I appreciate your time and energy today and your focus. I hope that this was super helpful to you. It was really fun for me to present this information to you. And I hope you will consider joining Brand Strategy 101. It's a really awesome course. You've got 48 hours really from now, actually less, to sign up for it. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday and a killer Thursday and Friday. And give it serious thought. If you have any questions for me about the course, hit me up in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group or directly through Facebook messaging if you're connected with me. And I really appreciate your being here and following and subscribing to me. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope to see you inside of Brand Strategy 101. So with that, take care, you guys. It's been awesome. Bye.